Hey guys, so in this video, let's talk about some tricks that you can use in ZBrush. I'm not sure if you have used any of them. I'm sure you have used some of them, and maybe some of them must be new. So stay tuned. It'll be a quick one, and nothing is in any particular order. It's just random tricks that we can use in ZBrush. So let's get started. First one is how to join two mesh. So suppose you have one mesh and two mesh. How do you join them? You just merge down and it'll be one, but they are again still two. So to join, go to geometry in Dynamesh, click Dynamesh. It'll be a one entity and a one mesh. If you increase the resolution, it'll be smoother. So that's how you join two meshes. Second is how to make a hole. If you suppose you have two objects, you click on the subtract button, turn on live boolean, you'll get this hole, but it is temporarily. If you want to make it into a mesh, you go to the boolean and make boolean mesh. It will append as a new mesh and like this, or you can just append whatever is here, and that's how you create a hole. Turn off Pro and put the values whatever you want, like 1920 by 1080, and hit resize. Cut anything using trim curve. Press Ctrl Shift and click on this. You will get this trim curve, and then you can slice or cut any object using that. If you press hold, it will create a curve and you can cut according to that. And if you double tap Alt, you can have a cut in straight line. Make sure you don't have any subdivisions on this. Turn on this button. This is Sculptris Pro, and so go here and delete higher. I'll just delete that, and if you turn this on, you can build your details, as you can see, with Sculptris Pro. It also depends on the size of your brush. My brush size is bigger, it will create bigger triangles. My brush size is smaller, it will create smaller triangles and create the intricate details like this. To create a smoky kind of effect, what you can do is pick the snake hook brush and turn on your Sculptris Pro and start sculpting. Or smoky effect, something if you want to suggest there is a wind, so in mesh, that's how you do it. If you want to bend something, press W, go to the settings, this customize menu, customize menu, select bend arc. Whatever green handles you are seeing, these will be able to bend your mesh, and the white will be able to set the point where the bend is happening. So if you want to bend in the direction, this will work. If you want to bend in this direction, this will work, or this. If you set the white like that, the bending will happen from the white's proportion, like so. And then to apply it, you go here and accept. It will apply the bend on your mesh. If you render any object in ZBrush, the shadows will come very harsh. So to smooth down the shadows, go to render, BPR shadows, and for global strength, keep it around 0.7, and and for raise, you can increase it. For now, I'll just keep it 128, and blur angle is 30. That's all you have to do. Press Shift R, render you can. And that's how you render smooth shadows. For better UVs in ZBrush, if you unwrap it as how it is, and by flatten, you can watch how the UVs look like. To make it better or have an island like UVs, you can create polygroups. So this is polygroup now, and if we do it with the polygroup and unwrap, we can have some better UVs. To create a VDM, take a plane, sculpt your details, whatever you want to sculpt, and make sure your edges are intact. Go to this and select any VDM brush which you see can be useful, and select this, and you can go here again, create multi-alpha brush. So that's how you get this, and then you can save this brush as your preferred name. I'll save it on desktop as leaps, and if next time you will open ZBrush, you will see that the brush, your brush is not here. Your brush, you have to load them, and if you go to any other object such as this one, subdivide it a couple of times, then you can use your it should be a make polymesh 3D. Use your brush what you created as a VDM. If you want to create alpha for your mesh or from any mesh, suppose this is your mesh, make sure your perspective is off. If you don't want perspective or alpha, make sure your document is on the size of 1K or 2K, or it should be in square size. Go to alpha, select grab doc, and you can see export this alpha and as an external file, and then you can use this alpha on any of the mesh like this. That's how you create your alpha. If you have a mesh like this which is dynameshed, and if you want to have the same kind of details on a retopo version, what you can do is duplicate this by Ctrl+Shift+D. Hitting Ctrl+Shift+D, go to your geometry panel and go to the Zremesh, hit same or whatever, half or even less if you want, and make sure your symmetry is on to have a symmetrical. So once it's done, you can divide it one or twice and turn that off, project details again, and you can delete the older mesh. Now it's exactly same with a better polygons. Now you can simply smooth. You can pose quickly by using transpose master. Go here, click on T-pose, then you can T-pose to sub T again. It'll pose all of your subtools, your visible subtools. You can use Standart Brush with different kind of alphas to create different kind of results like this. Or you can switch it to drag direct and create different effects like this. Oh, yeah. Or you can even spray those minute details if you have any, like this. Or you can have this one. So that's how you can create different kind of effects using Standart Brush. You can use a RAM brush for sci-fi paneling. Go to Lightbox, go to brushes, scroll down till you find RAM and double click on it and equip it. Make sure and use it with lazy mouse. For paneling, it can be a good brush. You can use move and create a point by using Accu Curve. Go to brush, go to curve, click on Accu Curve, and this way you can have a pointed move like this. And when you want to create something stylized, you can use that Accu Curve. If you turn off the Accu Curve, it will behave as normally as a move brush works. So to avoid sculpting on the back side of the model, go to brush, auto masking, and turn on your backface mask. It's right here. And this way you can avoid sculpting on the back side of the model. Use Inflate Brush to inflate very close edged model, or if you want to make something inflatable or something feels like a balloon, you can use Inflate Brush. You can have a Morph Target to get back to the details which were originally present on the model. Suppose you want to retain this and you're not sure what you want to add is not going to be final, you can go here and store a morph target and start sculpting after storing the morph target. And once you think that no, I want some of them to be there and some of them to lose, you can go here and select Morph Brush, and that way you can have the old model which was already there. Something like this. Use layers to edit the details that you have put or hide it. Create a layer, make sure you are on the high subdivision level and put the details whatever you want, something like this. And this way you can have at any point the details go more or less, or you can even delete them, and you can build a stack one on top of the other, and you can then edit or delete one. If you want to merge two ZBrush files in one, or if you want to append all of the other Ztools from other files, how you can do it? Go to Z plugin, go to subtool master, go to multi append and select the file that you want to import. Click open. It will append all the subtools which are present on that file into this existing Ztool. Done. I have everything which I wanted. To isolate one whole part of the mesh, that means if you want to isolate all the vertices which is attached to this mesh, you just have to press Ctrl+Shift+A. And again, if you want to hide or if you want to isolate this part, press Ctrl+Shift+A. If you want to project the gears of one mesh to other, make sure you have the detail mesh and your Zremeshed model here in one file, and make sure the detail you want to project from is also unhidden. You can go to the project button, you can increase the distance a little and project. It will take all the mesh and smooth it and fix the mesh. Use auto group under polygroup to separate your mesh according to different parts. You can use lazy mouse to create understroke, and if you increase the lazy radius, you can use this to create some cool looking details with some lazy mouse, mostly embroidery or something. Use Radial Symmetry for designing your model in a different way. Make sure whatever you want in Y, press R and increase the count of whatever you want, maybe 60, and that way you can just model it in radial manner. Use see-through to quickly adjust your model according to your references, like this. You can set the see-through intensity from here. Hold Ctrl and move in any direction to duplicate the model. Use toy plastic material for eyes to have a better looking eyes. Go to your materials, select toy plastic, make sure it's on M, color, fill object, and everything else is again should be good. So if you want to use any kind of pattern on your object, it doesn't have to be cloth or anything. You can use noise. Go to edit, select the alpha that you want to use, whatever kind of noise, something like leather. So strength should be kind of okay, and this is the leather. Strength, make sure it's to your liking, not too much, and there we go. That's how you can use noise, and you can just apply to mesh. It'll apply it to the mesh. To customize your ZBrush interface, go to preferences. In config, under config you can enable customize. Hold Ctrl and Alt and place whatever you want anywhere from, and you can place any of your button as well, like this. And after customizing everything, you can disable it and save your user interface. If somehow your user interface is too packed up and small, you can hold Control, come here till you see this up and down arrow, and then you can just click and hold, drag up and down to access all the menus, whatever you want. Press 1 to replay your last action. Even if you move this in the interface, if you press 1, it will replay your last action. In brush, go to depth and increase your gravity to set the gravity of your brush. If you select any alpha and increase the gravity a little bit more, you can have a cloth brush of your need. It puts on gravity on the object, on your sculpt. If your object is at the center, your symmetry will be fine. But once you turn off the symmetry and move the object, your symmetry will look something like this. To make it more symmetrical, you can turn on the local symmetry and your symmetry will be back. Okay, so this one is about dents using Blob brush. So first select the Blob brush and pick up anything spray. Try it if it works. It can create some metal dents or subdivide it a couple of times. Or if you don't like it, you can get something which is, and you can just decrease the flow of this brush, and that's how you can create dents. Let's talk about the differences between trim dynamic, flatten and hPolish. Trim dynamic just trims out all the information that is there on the mesh, which is great for hard surface and some beveling here and there. And what flatten does, it just flattens it. It's great for flattening the surface, something like this. It doesn't deform too much, and it is a little different from trim dynamic. You can make it trim on a higher, like this. It just trims it, it cuts everything. Flatten doesn't do that. Flatten just flattens it and in a different manner. So hPolish is what I use mainly for polishing stuff. It does not decimate or change the shape of the model too much. It tries to polish it as much as you want. The simple move brush moves the object whichever comes in the area of its radius. If you select move topology, it moves your object according to the topology. Like if the object is separate, it's not gonna affect that area, it's gonna affect this. Also, if you give your brush 1 and then move it, it will move the whole object and work as a move brush. You can press Ctrl and Alt, keep holding them and click on any button to assign the hotkey for that. Like if you press Ctrl and Alt and click on transparency and then press Ctrl T, it will assign the transparency. If you see, Ctrl T with that. Press Ctrl+Alt and then click on any button, then press the shortcut you want to assign. You can use best render for quick soft shadow render, but it's noisy. Press Ctrl Shift and X to increase the mask, and Ctrl Shift and S, keep tapping S to decrease the mask or the visible area of that mesh. If you hold it, it's going to increase your area of isolation. Like this, Ctrl Shift X to increase, Ctrl Shift S to decrease. Sometimes you work on one side of the mesh and you forgot to turn on the symmetry. You can use Smart Resym from here on X to project the same on the other side. This deformation panel is very useful. If you want to quickly smooth your object, you can hit smooth a couple of times, increase it. Or if you want to inflate it, make it a balloon, you can do that from here. Or my favorite one, you can just bend it on any direction. If you want to bend it in X, you can do that like this. So yeah, that's how you can use deformation at your need. There's a flatten as well, so it just flattens the side, this one. So yeah, That's how you can flatten it. So let's talk about what is the difference between this save, which is the subtool save, Ztool, and which is the difference between file save, this one. So if you save as a file, it will save the history along with all the subtools which is there, or Ztools which is there loaded. If you save the Ztool, it's gonna save whatever is present in this one. So these two will get saved if you use this save as, and everything which you are seeing here, including the history, will save if you save as a file. I personally use Ztool save only because I only work one at a time. You can press T to quickly capture it in the canvas. You can just press T once and switch, and then you can press T again, and then press T again, and then press T again. So that's how you can create a document if you want. Use IMM brushes such as these to quickly add detail to your hard surface objects like this, or if even you can press Alt and create them inside like that. To send any light on the back of the model, you just turn the light on, increase the intensity, and click on the light. It will go back on that model. It will act as a backlight. I'll show you what is the best setting to record a turntable as the last one. You can go to the movie. Before turning on the turntable, click on dock, set large. On modifiers, you can set it to not the modifiers. Modifiers is fine. For timeline, you can set the duration to 60, and for overlay image, make sure the opacity is low. For title image, both of them are 0. Then you can hit on turntable. So suppose you want to go back to the history which is right here, maybe even back. What you can do is you can just hold Ctrl and click on it. It will mark that history, and you can come forward to whatever point you want, and then select the history recall brush. When you mark the history, it will work and restore that history on the current history. This is an interesting one. If you want to create any mesh from alpha, I have loaded one alpha, and if I want to create any mesh from it, just go to alpha and make 3D, set the resolution what you want, and the depth, smooth if you want it, make 3D. It will give you the alpha. Now you can use it.